we're in district court in Ann Arbor, Michigan. 36-year-old Anthony Lane is before Judge Cedric Simpson for a virtual conference. 6 months earlier, Lane was charged with 1 count of possessing methamphetamine or ecstasy and 1 count of possessing a narcotic, cocaine or heroin. Today, Lane is requesting to waive his right to a probable cause hearing and have his case sent straight to circuit court.
Mr. Lane, please state your name for the court.
Anthony Lane.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing? A waiver for continued plea negotiations and resolution in circuit.
You understand you'll not have that hearing and you'll proceed to circuit court for further resolution?
Yes, sir.
Everything seems to be going as planned until the judge asked the prosecutor if he also agrees to waive the probable cause hearing.
People also waive their right?
Your Honor, I'll agree to waive, but I do want to make a statement on the record. It appeared that earlier in this time block that Mr. Lane was rolling a blunt and might have been smoking.
Earlier that day, while Lane waited in the virtual courtroom, he decided to have a smoke. Another defendant waiting for the judge did a double take when he noticed what Lane was up to. While recreational marijuana use is legal in Michigan, Lane is out on bond and strictly prohibited from taking any drugs or controlled substances. Lane looked cautiously out the vehicle's window, but paid no attention to the phone in front of him that was broadcasting what he was doing, not only on the internet, but directly to the court. He continued smoking during the session and flaunted the blunt up close while Judge Simpson was handling other cases. Court staff took notice and informed the prosecutor.
Your Honor, given that information, I guess we need to adjourn the PCC so Mr. Lane and I can speak further before we wait.
Yeah. I think that might be wise. Mr. Lane, you understand what's happening now?
Yeah.
As part of his bond conditions, Lane is also supposed to be taking regular drug tests.
When's the last time you tested?
2 weeks ago.
You were supposed to be testing 2 times per week.
I tested back to back.
Okay, but have you tested this week?
No, sir.
I'm also going to order that you're to report to Community Corrections today for a test.
Your Honor, I have no ride today.
Well, you better find somebody to get you a ride down here. I'm ordering a test. You're the one that brought this on yourself by what you did. So I'm ordering a test today.
Okay,
if you
sir.
don't test today, I'm going to be issuing a warrant to have you picked up.
But as the judge moves on, Lane lingers on the call and lets out a laugh.
You keep laughing, Mr. Lane. I don't think you want to do that. Not with me. You better take yourself off before you think things are too funny. Thank you.
I wasn't laughing at you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Court calls case, People versus Chandler Langston.
Lane never made it to Community Corrections that day, nor did he appear at his next conference. Judge Simpson issued a warrant for his arrest and revoked bond. His case remains open. Next, we take you to Orlando, Florida, for a courtroom moment you may have missed in the high-profile trial of 25-year-old Casey Anthony. Anthony was accused of killing her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee, in 2008. And the trial made headlines around the world. It's the 7th week of the trial, and the defense is rested. Judge Belvin Perry has dismissed the jury, but another matter has caught his attention, one he wants to deal with right away. Earlier, a 28-year-old spectator in the gallery named Matthew Bartlett made an inappropriate hand gesture towards prosecutor Jeff Ashton, who was addressing the court. A member of the press reported the moment, and the gesture got back to the judge, who is not happy, and now he's called Bartlett before him.
You recognize the individual on that photograph, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and who is it?
This is me.
And what is that symbol that you are projecting with your fingers?
Using my middle finger, and I am sorry.
And who were you extending the finger to, sir?
Mr. Ashton.
You see this sign?
Yes, sir.
And does not this sign read any gestures, facial expressions showing approval or disapproval during a court proceeding is absolutely prohibited? That sign is posted on the door outside, is it not?
It is.
Was there anything about that that you did not understand, sir?
No, sir.
Could you tell this court why you should not be held in contempt of court?
I'm truly sorry for doing this. This is something stupid, and I'm not sure why I even did it. And I just apologize. I don't understand why I did it. I do apologize.
The maximum sentence for contempt of court in the state of Florida is a year in county jail. Despite Bartlett's apology, the judge is not letting this go.
Young man, do you realize that the taxpayers of the state of Florida has expended a great deal of money in putting on this trial, and that your actions could have jeopardized all of the work that the attorneys have done in this particular case?
Yes, sir.
Anything you would like to say before this court imposes sentence?
I apologize for doing this.
At this time, I will adjudge you to be guilty of the crime of direct criminal contempt. I will sentence you to 6 days in Orange County Jail, impose a fine of $400 along with the court costs. He will be remanded to the custody of Orange County, to the Orange County Jail.
While Bartlett served his 6-day sentence, the trial of Casey Anthony continued. Ultimately, Anthony was found not guilty of murdering her daughter. She was found guilty on 4 counts of lying to investigators and served over 3 years of a 4-year sentence for those crimes. Next, we go to a virtual hearing in Tampa, Florida. The defendant is 33-year-old B.J. Dreggers. He's been charged with fraud and petty theft for trying to pass bad checks. Today, he appears remotely before Judge Michael Williams to enter a plea. The state initially offered a deal where Dreggers would plead guilty and get sentenced to 18 months probation. If he decides to go to trial and is convicted, the former Marine could be looking at 5 years behind bars.
E.J. Dreggers.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, good morning. Last time we were in court, he was shooting up drugs on my Zoom.
That's right. 3 months earlier, while waiting for his preliminary hearing to begin, Dreggers engaged in some illegal drug use. Judge Williams didn't watch it live, but a prosecutor did and shared it with the court. And the judge isn't happy about it.
Yes, sir. I apologize to yourself and the court for that, sir.
I only go so far, but
Yes, sir.
it's bad enough I got to put up with people smoking cigarettes and everything else. I don't need that.
No, sir.
I don't know. What's your resolution on him?
Dreggers' attorney David Hall steps in to do some damage control.
In my conversations with him, he's been entirely professional, respectful, remorseful about his actions.
I instructed him to appear in person on 6/4/21 and he didn't. And then he shows back up on Zoom on June 15th, and that's when he's shooting up on the Zoom.
Despite the judge's remarks, Paul requests the court stick with the original deal of probation. But for Judge Williams, it's not that simple.
18 months of probation. He wants to resolve it to the court. I'll do it today for 180 days plus 18 months. I'm not taking probation today and he gets out. I think I'm usually pretty relaxed on certain things, but you know, you shoot up on my Zoom, that's different.
Mr. Dreggers, the court is rejecting the plea agreement with the state, proposing 180 days in custody followed by 18 months probation. Is that something you want to do? The alternative would be to set it for trial.
Dreggers doesn't love either of the choices, so he makes his own request.
Is there a way to have stricter probation or something of those guidelines?
No.
Dreggers is given a month to discuss things with his attorney on how he wants to plead.
All right, Mr. Dreggers, come on up.
Once again, he appears before Judge Williams, who, after doing some of his own reflecting, has a new outlook on the case.
Mr. Dreggers, I've been thinking about your case. You're a veteran, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
What branch?
Marine Corps.
All right. There's a once-a-year docket that I do, and it's called the Veterans Outreach Court. So
Yes, sir.
what I'm proposing is we set you on that Veterans Outreach Court docket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Dreggers appeared on the veterans docket, and the judge gave him a second chance. He's released and given 18 months probation, plus mandatory drug and alcohol testing.
Just work on getting clean and moving forward, and let's have a good ending to a bad situation, okay?
Hey, Judge, I appreciate everything you've done for me, sir.
You get clean, I'm happy.
Dreggers is currently employed and taking steps to remain drug-free.
Excuse me, ma'am. I did not kill the animal on purpose.
Next, we go to bond court in Miami-Dade County. Judge Mindy Glazer presiding. The defendant, Kenny Amaro, has been charged with animal cruelty with intent to do harm or kill. A day earlier, the 36-year-old Amaro was caught on a surveillance camera trying to lure his neighbor's dog, Rocky, towards him. He then allegedly lassoed a belt around Rocky's neck, elevated him, and began swinging the one-year-old puppy in a circular motion multiple times. We won't show the complete video because of its graphic nature. Then, after allegedly pinning Rocky to the ground and tying him to a street sign, Amaro went to his neighbor's home and began shouting and kicking the front door. After Amaro left, Rocky's owner retrieved the lifeless dog and brought it to the front porch, where he tried unsuccessfully to save its life. Officers arrived and Amaro was placed into custody. According to police reports, Amaro claimed the dog was being aggressive. He was simply trying to protect the community.
Kenny Amaro?
Today, he appears before Judge Glazer to hear charges and find out if he'll make bail.
Good morning, sir. You were arrested for 1 count of animal cruelty. Do you have any money to pay for your own lawyer?
Excuse me, ma'am. I did not kill the animal on purpose.
Before you talk about the facts, you want to tell us first if you can afford to pay for a
Excuse me,
lawyer?
ma'am. As a citizen of the United States of America, I'm a citizen and I have the right to speak freely.
Of course, but I'm happy to listen, but do you have money to pay for a lawyer? I'm trying to find out if I need to appoint a free.
The judge decides to appoint a public defender who sits off camera to represent Amaro.
Okay. Can I explain to you what happened, ma'am?
I advise you not to, sir. While you do have a right to speak, you also have a right to remain silent.
No, I had the right to speak. I want to speak.
As Judge Glazer reads the case report, Amaro begins to show some frustration.
I'm just saying I want to explain to the judge what happened with the dog.
I'd advise you not to do that
Why not?
because it's not in your best interest.
Because everything you say can be
it is
used
in my
against
best
you.
interest. You know why? Because I was afraid for my life.
Sir?
Excuse me?
It appears Amaro doesn't like the way this is going.
Don't.
Yes, sir. You told me. Hello?
Hello. I'm just reading what happened here.
Huh?
I'm reading what happened here. Apparently there was some surveillance.
Yeah, you're
video.
reading what happened, but that's not what happened. You know why? Because they're lying. Ma'am, the dog was a dangerous dog.
Do not talk
A
about the facts
mean
of your
dog.
case.
He would have killed a kid.
The public defender is trying to keep Amaro from incriminating himself, but it's not working.
If he sees a kid, he would attack the kid. Excuse me, sir. I want to be my own lawyer. You're not my lawyer no more. I intend to do what I have to do. May I speak?
It's now Judge Glazer's turn to do the talking.
So, sir, these are serious charges. You could be facing prison time if you're found guilty.
Excuse me, may I speak now?
Go ahead.
I was afraid for my life, and I had to defend myself like you Americans do all the time. I pledge to listen to the flag of the United States of America. I try to save my life like you guys did the 9/11. You guys went and bombed those people over there.
So, State, what are you seeking here?
An increase
What I'm seeking is that I try to save my life and somebody else's life.
For killing
I
an
don't
innocent
deserve
dog?
to be in jail.
Judge Glazer sets bond at $25,000. And if Amaro posts, he must remain on house arrest.
$25,000 bond plus house
It's not
arrest.
fair.
Conditions
I don't
may
have that money.
prosecute.
I'm a poor person. It's not
We
fair.
object.
He's a danger to the community as well as.
No, man, I didn't say I'm
bonds in the
dangerous.
community.
I did not say that. This is not fair for me.
Amaro would later enter a plea of not guilty, and his trial is pending. If found guilty, he could be sentenced to 5 years in prison. Thanks for being a fan of CourtCam. Subscribe to A&E to never miss a new video and catch full episodes on aetv.com.